So we're just gonna start in easy pose, sitting on the mat. So just cross the legs any way that you like. You can have your palms facing down on the thighs or even facing up. And then I'll invite you to close the eyes if you'd like to. You can also have a soft gaze on the floor in front of you. And just begin to bring awareness to the breath. Even if this is the first time this morning that you've noticed the breath, just kind of feel it filling the belly and then the lungs, and then just begin long, slow exhales. Forcing the brain to focus on one simple task is really creating new grooves and putting up, or scientifically creating this new way to respond to stress. Instead of feeling scattered, we narrow in and just kind of have this neutral awareness and just paying attention to the breath. And I actually want to do a breath control practice this morning, and simply called just 5, 5, 10. And we might have done it before already, but if not, it's a good breath to practice just to bring the nervous system into balance. And we are going to inhale for 5 seconds. We're not going to hold or put any pressure into holding the breath for the 5 seconds, but we're going to pause the breath for 5 seconds. And then you'll exhale for 10. If you don't make it to 10, that's okay. If you don't make it to 5, that's okay. Just do what you can as long as the exhale is longer than the inhale. So take one more deep breath, regular passive breath, and then exhale. And then breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, counting silently on your own for 10. And then continue with the breath. Inhale for 5. Pause. Exhale. Do 2 more rounds. And then return to a regular passive breath when you're finished. And just notice any differences or sensations in the body. And let's go ahead and blink the eyes open. And I just want to relay a quote that I really love by Rolf Gates. And he says, I just want to bring this intention with us on the mat today. Do not second guess yourself on the mat or underrate the power of a pose. Whatever you were doing with your body before you came to the mat is in the past. You are in the right place at the right time, and the sky's the limit. And that's what I want to remember about yoga every single day, actually. Bring your right hand to the mat. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale back to center, pause here. And then exhale, bring the hand down. Right palm up, inhale. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, the right arm down. Let's bring the left hand to the right knee, right fingertips behind you. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. And then exhale, bring the right shoulder back, coming into the twist, twisting from the upper half of the spine. Find your breath here. Next exhalation, come back to center. And then left fingertips behind you, right hand to left knee. Inhale, lengthen first. And then exhale, twist. 3 breaths. Next exhale, come back to center. And then let's go to hands and knees for our Betalasana. So knees are hip width apart. Hands are shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit in front of the shoulders. And go ahead and begin. Inhale, lift the tail, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, lead with the tailbone and drop the head last. And then same as you're dropping the belly, let the head come up last. The head always wants to know what's going on first, so we are forcing it to just wait. And then continue with your own breath. So you might take these a little bit slower, you might take them faster, just do what feels good. Move the shoulders, move the hips if you'd like. Let's do one more round. And then come back to a flat back. We'll do big hip circles. So bring the palms even one more hand width forward. And then start by leaning forward, right, back, left. Just kind of creating some heat in the hips. And then go in the other direction after you've done a few. That is my knee crunching on the mat, but it doesn't hurt. The noises the body makes, scary sometimes. Okay, extend the right leg out behind you. And for a moment, just take a breath, pressing the toes into the mat to stretch the calf muscles. The gastrocnemius, the calf muscles, they're actually 2 muscles and they split down the middle, which is really interesting. Go ahead and bring your left arm out in front of you, bicep to ear. We're going to come into a balanced posture here. Lift the back leg, looking straight down at the mat, kicking out through the heel and extending out through the fingertips. Bring your navel to the spine. Don't let the lower back dip. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. And also we want to make sure we're not dumping into the shoulders, so really press the floor away from you. Exhale, bring the hand and the knee back down. Same thing on the other side. Start by extending the back leg and bringing your weight back to lengthen the calf muscles. And then go ahead and extend the right arm out in front of you. Be sure that the left shoulder is not in front of the wrist. So just adjust the left arm if you need to. And then bring the back leg up. Lift from the inner thigh. Your belly's probably going to dip, so bring your navel back towards the spine, lifting. 2 more breaths, looking straight down. And then go ahead and return back to the mat. Widen the knees, come into child's pose. Bring the big toes together, sit on the heels. Walk the hands forward and begin by pressing the fingertips into the mat. Stretching the shoulders a little bit. Bring your forehead down to the mat, put it on a block if it doesn't reach the floor, or you can always stack the fists too, and sometimes that gives the arms a nice break. But give them a stretch first. We're gonna take 5 breaths here. Deep belly breathing. Lift the head. Walk the hands towards the body just a little bit. We're gonna walk the hands to the right, opening up the left side of the body. It's really hard for some people to, and I'm one of them sometimes, to slow the body down and do this at a slow pace. It takes some training to be still. So think of that as you're going through these. Inhale, lift. Walk the hands slowly to the left. We have the spine going in all different directions, so we want to be careful. And then lift, come back to center. We're just going to bring the knees together here instead of coming to hands and knees totally. We're going to do just a simple thread the needle, kind of like we did on Tuesday, but just, without all the extra dancing. So just take your left hand, put it under your right, and just fold forward here. If your head doesn't touch the floor, if you have a block or something nearby, put it there. If you don't have a block, then go ahead and just lift the sitting bones. Reach the fingertips a little bit further, finding that stretch in the shoulder socket. And then next exhale, come back to center, other side. Just bring the right arm underneath the left. Find your breath here. Reach the fingertips a little bit further. And then go ahead, exhale, come back to center. If you do have a block, put it towards the front of your mat in case you need it again. We're gonna come up to hands and knees and then get up into our first downward facing dog. So again, one palm length forward, press the roots of the fingers into the mat, curl the toes under, and bring the hips up and back. Keep the knees bent at first, and just pedal the feet like you're walking your dog, as they say. Move the hips around. You can even widen your stance and move the feet around. Extend through the tailbone, begin to come to stillness. We're gonna bring the right leg up. So right leg up in the three-legged dog, drop the left heel, and see if you can bring the right heel towards the glutes. So we're opening up the hip a little bit more of an intense way here. You might even be looking under the right armpit. And then we're gonna bring this right foot towards the front of the mat. So keep the knee bent and bring it towards the front of your mat. However you have to do that. You can come to knees first or just swoop it up there. Drag it, whatever you have to do. This is where the block will come in play. So if you do need the block, you can bring it to the inside of the foot. Left hand is gonna come to the inside of the foot. We're gonna take the right hand, right fingertips up towards the ceiling. You can also drop the back knee here. Your choice. 3 breaths. Look down at your foot. Bring the right hand down. We're gonna come into pigeon pose here, which is a bit intense. So if you have a blanket nearby, you might need that. We're just gonna externally rotate this right leg. The knee is gonna come out to the right and your legs are gonna look like the number 7, okay? So dropping the pelvis towards the mat. If your right cheek is really high, you can put a block, a pillow, or a blanket underneath to support, okay? Because we want the pelvis to be even with the mat. This is a really intense pose in the beginning. In the beginning, I had to have both of my hands inside of the leg. So just see what you can do here to find comfort for a few minutes, okay?
This is one of my favorite poses.
It's good. Okay. All right, so you can stay here or you can come down to forearms. And if you have the flexibility, you can even go all the way down to the mat. You put your head on a block or a pillow here. I'm definitely not going all the way down to the block today. Well, maybe. All right, there we go. The back toes, just be careful. The back toes need to be pointing in. I'm gonna actually stay here. Shoulders are still away from the ears. Find your breath here, find that stillness. Come to a place of surrender, where you're feeling the tightness and the tension. Bring your breath to those areas. We're going to take a few more breaths here. Go ahead and inhale, look up. If you're on your forearms, come back to your palms on the mat. And then we're going to curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, and then very slowly come back to downward facing dog. So your hip might be like, oh gosh. What we're going to do is bend the knee and just take some big circles just to open it back up. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So left leg up. First, drop the heel towards the buttocks. Open up the hip, look under the left arm. Feel that intense stretch through the left side of the body. And then keep the knee bent. Bring the foot towards the front of the mat, coming into a lunge. Have the block there or not. Drop the back knee. or not. And then left fingertips up towards the ceiling. 3 breaths here. Exhale, look down at your foot. Bring the left hand down. Drop the left knee out to the left. Coming into Ekapada Rajakapotasana, pigeon on the left side. Balance out the pelvis. Kind of prepare for the pose. Once you're good, you can start walking down to your forearms or come all the way down here. And then find your breath. Same thing on this side. Wherever you're feeling that tightness or tension, bring your breath to those areas. Give your body permission to release that tension. The hips are really a big junk drawer of emotions, and we like to keep things there. So using the breath and the permission helps release. Release the issues and the tissues. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And then return the palms back to the mat. Begin to lift the upper body. Curl the back toes under, lifting the back knee. And then returning carefully to downward facing dog. We'll do this circles with the hips on the left, or the hip socket on the left leg. Just move it around a little bit if that feels good. And then bring the left foot down, come to downward facing dog, and we're gonna walk the hands towards the feet. So separate the feet almost to the edges of the mat, and then begin to walk the hands towards the body. We're gonna stay hanging here for a moment. Bring the palms underneath the feet, okay? So the toes are touching the wrist creases, both hands underneath the feet, and then shift your weight forward, shoulders back. So stretching the wrist a little bit, and then drop the head. Keep the knees bent. Try to keep the belly as close to the thighs as possible to protect the lower back. We'll take a few breaths here. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the hands. And then bring your hands to your waist or your pelvic rim. Bend the knees and inhale, come all the way up. Nice and slow, no passing out. Exhale, come to Tadasana. Back to the front of your mat. Inner edges of the feet are parallel. We're gonna do a couple of sun salutation A, and we're gonna do it nice and slow. So to begin, inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up or come halfway up. Whatever your hamstrings can do for giving you a nice flat back. And then on an exhale, step back to plank. You can come to your knees if you'd like. Exhale, chaturanga, lower the body evenly, elbows straight back. Hands to lower ribs. We're gonna lift on an inhale, cobra. Pelvis stays pressing into the mat. Exhale, come down. Bring the hands to the edges of the mat. Again, inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Fingertips to the outside of the mat. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Hands back to the lower ribs. Curl the toes under. Come to hands and knees first, and then up to downward facing dog. We're gonna take 5 breaths here. So you can be still or you can move, your choice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up at the front of your mat and get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Back to Tadasana. One more time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Take a breath here. And then exhale, chaturanga. Go all the way down. Use your left arm as a pillow. We're gonna do a stretch for the front of the legs. So right hand to the foot or the ankle, bring the heel towards the buttocks. So my shoulder has a tendency to just drop forward here. Keep it up and straight. So we're still trying to keep the inner edges of the shoulder blades towards each other. We're just training the body in every situation to use those muscles to protect the spine. Press your hips into the mat. If you don't feel a stretch here, you can begin to press the heel and slide it towards the outside of the leg, as long as it's touching the outer hip. Take 2 more breaths here. Long, slow, steady breaths, just like we did in the beginning. And then exhale, release. Use your right arm as a pillow. We're gonna do the same exact thing on the other side. So grab the left ankle if you can. Foot is okay too. Press the hips into the ground. Rest your head. Bring the heel towards the glutes. Take 1 more breath here. And then go ahead and release. Bring your hands back to the lower ribs. Curl the toes under. Lift yourself to down, come to hands and knees first, and then up to downward facing dog. When you have your hands at the lower ribs, when you're lying face down in a prone position, your hands will be in the exact correct spot for your downward facing dog. It just fits with your anatomy. Inhale, look up, get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good, let's bring the right leg back, coming into warrior 1. So right leg back, we're lined up, heel to heel or a little bit wider. We're gonna pull that right hip forward and then drop the sacrum, bend the front knee. Press the outer edge of the back foot. Inhale, bring the arms up. Bring the shoulders, retract them back into the shoulder sockets. And you can actually be looking up or down. It doesn't matter. whatever is good for your neck. The glutes are engaged. Feel your quads waking up. Take one more breath here. We're going to keep the arms straight forward and begin to shift the weight forward to come into our warrior three. So I conveniently have a wall right in front of me, and I'm going to use it. Toes facing down. If you have a wall to practice this on, you could probably get a little deeper into it. So that's always fun. Keep a micro bend in the standing knee. Right toes are pointing down. The pelvis stays parallel to the mat. Take another breath here. We're going to open up the foot. So right toes are going to, well, the hip will be open. So we can come into warrior two from here. Bend the standing knee and very slowly and gently bring the foot down. If your foot didn't make it all the way out, that's fine. Just go on the ball of the foot and rotate so the back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, or right toes in a little bit. And I'm going to scoot my front toes forward. My hips are open. Now I'm in warrior two legs. Right shoulder back. Extend the arms front and back. Bend the knee. Be sure it's not caving in. Use the inner leg muscles to keep the knee lined up directly over the ankle. Gaze off that front finger. We're going to inhale, straighten the leg, bring the arms up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then reverse it. Drop the back hand. Bring the left arm up and back. Take a breath here. Exhale. Bring the left arm on top of the thigh. Right arm up and over. Open up the chest. Find your breath here. Lower belly in and up. Exhale. Come back up to warrior two. Bring the left toes in, so pivot on the heel. And then bring the legs together safely. Shake it out a little bit before we do the other side. All right, I'm going to face this way. You can face the same exact way, but just so you can see me better. So starting in Tadasana, let's actually take a breath or two here and just feel our feet on the ground. All four corners of the feet pressing into the mat. We'll slowly take the left leg back in a way where we can bring the left hip forward, bend the front knee, and still keep the back foot on the ground. So warrior one here. Engage the lower belly in and lengthen through the crown of the head. That might have straightened your leg a little bit, so go back into the knee bend. And then bring the arms up for warrior one. Outer edge of the back foot is pressing and engaging the buttocks. Retract the shoulders back into the sockets. Find your breath here. Next exhalation, we're going to start to shift forward. And I don't have a wall in front of me for this one. So. All right, actually I do. Here we go. I'm sorry if you don't have a wall to practice on. Lift the leg up. I mean, really, the legs are what make this a warrior one balance or warrior three balancing. The hips are, back hip is internally rotated, so it doesn't matter where your arms are. Take one more breath here. And then open the back hip so you can get ready for warrior 2, bend the standing knee and very slowly drop that foot back. Adjust as needed. Bend into the front knee, left shoulder back. So I'm like really, my center line right now is way off. I'm heel to arch, which isn't that unusual for Warrior Two, but for my hips, it is. So I need to actually walk and make my stance wider. Not longer, but wider. Bend the knee, extend the arms. Find your breath here just for a moment, and then we're gonna move. Inhale up, straighten the leg, reach the arms. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time, up. Exhale down. And then reverse it. One long stretch. And then exhale, come forward into side angle. Right forearm on the right thigh, extend the arm. 3 breaths here. Exhale, come back to Warrior Two. Bring the toes in and the feet together. That's a good one for morning time, right? We're gonna do eagle pose for our balancing pose today. So you can do this on a wall or just do it standing, because you can take it as far or as little as you want. We're gonna start with the arms. So inhale the arms up. Exhale, bend at the elbows. Take your right elbow over the left and wrap the arms up, maybe. Bring the palms together or just hug yourself. Now we're gonna lift the left heel. Find your focus point though. You're gonna be gazing beyond the arms. The arms are gonna look blurry. You'll lose your balance if you don't do that, most likely. If you feel okay with the left heel lifted, bring it over the right foot and just balance on your left toes over the right foot. If you feel good here, you can maybe start to squat down or cross your legs completely, bringing your left toes behind the calf muscle. You would just be using your bum on the wall for this if you were on the wall. I'm just gonna stick with the toes. Find your breath here. Come out of it when you're ready. So another breath or two if you can. And then stand back up. Come back to both feet, release the arms. You can release it all at once. Once you start losing the integrity of the pose, then you can come out of it at any time. It's not like the length that you're in the pose, it's the integrity of how long you can keep the integrity of the pose, even if it's just for one breath. So let's do the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend. Let's bring the left over the right this time. And then right foot over the left. Or just stick with the right heel lifted. Find your eagle pose on this side and find your breath. Eventually, you come all the way wrapped into it and you come all the way down. For today, we're gonna stay here. Try to take one more breath. And then exhale, release legs, arms, shake it off a little bit. Grab your elbows behind your back. I'm used to seeing myself in yoga pants on the screen. It's so funny, I'm wearing like hiking pants and it just looks crazy. This is why on YouTube is good for me recording videos, because I can edit out all of these things that I say that don't make sense. But hey, live stream is like, makes things exciting and unpredictable. So find your Tadasana legs. Look over your right shoulder. We're gonna do a shoulder stretch here. Lift the chest, spread the collarbones, and then roll the chin to the chest. across the chest until you're looking over the left shoulder. Again, just doing this back and forth slowly, stopping where you need that extra stretch. We don't rotate the neck back. We just try to not bend the cervical spine in that direction as much as possible. Do it one more time and then bring the head back to center. What we are going to do is a little bit more neck stuff. So bring the left arm down. Right index finger is going to touch the left ear. Okay? Not to press, just to guide. And also extend the left arm through the fingertips. So you might already be feeling a stretch from the left side of the neck out through the left arm. We're just guiding the right ear to the right shoulder. Also pay attention to where your feet are, how your weight is distributed through the body. Try to get as balanced as possible. And then don't forget to breathe. Next exhalation, release. Do the other side. Left hand is just guiding left ear to left shoulder. Extend the right arm. In some yoga practices, they call this a nerve cleanse. I'm not sure that the nerves can be cleansed per se, but it does help circulation, and it does help when you're on a computer to get this length through the fingertips. Take one more breath. And release. We're going to bring it back down to the mat. So coming into a squat, I don't know how your squat is. If you have a pillow or a block, grab that, because you might need to sit on it. So you can actually have your toes out and have your feet separated as much as you need to. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. As you go down, bend the knees, drop the tailbone towards the floor. Your heels might lift, and that's completely okay. See what you can do here. There's a reason why squatting cultures don't have low back problems and digestive issues. So I like to bring this into class. Eventually your toes go straight, your feet come closer together, just like you're perching. This is what like a 41-year-old American hip squat looks like, but it's better than nothing. Use your elbows to press in to the inside of the legs, keeping the knees open. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. And you can be sitting on the block, maybe even 2 blocks. Let's just take another breath here. And then bring the hands behind you. We're going to find our way to sitting. Extend the legs out in front of you. Maybe bounce the knees around just a little bit. And then get tall on the spine. We're going to sit in Dandasana for 3 breaths. So lengthen and activate the legs. Feet are flexed, shoulders are back. We're looking for a little bit of that tilt in the pelvis. So even if you have to like shove the mat under your sitting bones to get that lift, then that's what we do. Takes pressure off the lower back. We're coming into a forward fold from here, Paschimottanasana, stretching the west side of the body. If you have a strap, you can put it around the feet and use that. Or just come down and bring the hands down. Again, shoulders back. We're not rounding the spine here. We're keeping length. Inhale, lift all the way. Bring the soles of the feet together and drop the knees. So you're gonna have your hands on the ankles, but also see it, kind of imagine just like opening the feet, peeling the feet apart. We are going to round the back for this one in Baddha Konasana B. So inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, actively engage the belly, push the front of the body towards the spine, and completely round until you're dropping the head towards the floor, pressing the knees open. And then inhale, come all the way up. Bring the knees back together. We're gonna lie down on our backs. And since you like pigeon so much, we're gonna do supine pigeon. It's good for sitting, walking, sitting, all the things that we have to do. Okay. So first we're gonna do bridge though, okay? If you have a block, I want you to use your block. If you don't have a block, then that is okay. We're just not gonna go deep into this back bend today since it's a gentle class. If you have the block, put it under your sacrum, the lowest part of the spine near the tailbone. Bring your heels close to the sitting bones. And we are just gonna lift up and down. We're gonna do that 3 times. So you might be doing this from the floor, you might be doing it from the block. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Press the inner edges of the feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Bring the right leg up. Bring the left leg up. Keep the feet together as if you have one big leg. And if you don't have a block for this one, just stack your hands, put it underneath the sacrum to try to get the legs straight up. So again, lots of benefits to this posture, Viparita Karani, giving letting gravity help, the cardiovascular system. Instead of it having to work against gravity, we're just kind of giving it a break. And then this is very calming to the nervous system. It's good for tired legs. I mean, we're walking on them all day. If you get swelling in the legs and feet, this is really good. This is an inversion. This is a yoga inversion. Your feet are above the heart and the head. Take another breath here. And then as you exhale, bring the left leg down first, and then the right. Feel that tingling maybe. Lift the pelvis, remove the block if you have that, or remove your hands. Very slowly go back down to the mat. And then bring the left ankle to the right knee. We're coming into supine pigeon here. Interlace the fingers behind the right thigh. Be sure the lower back is flat on the mat. And then draw the right knee towards the chest. The neck, the head, neck, and shoulders stay relaxed towards the mat. Keep both feet flexed. Stabilizing this floating knee here. Next exhalation, bring the right foot down. And then the left. We'll do the other side, right ankle to left knee. Interlace the fingers behind the left thigh and draw the left knee towards the chest. Next exhale, release. Both feet on the ground. We're going to bring the knees up to the chest. One more, well, I guess this is the only time, but bring the knees up to the chest. We're going to do one more twist here. So first, rock the knees over to the right. Keep them pretty bent. And see what happens when you extend the arms out. If you need support under the left shoulder, you can put it there. Otherwise, just keep the shoulder heavy towards the mat. When I first came into yoga and was doing twists like this, my shoulder was so far away, it was pinching the nerves. So as long as you're not getting tingling, then you're good. Any nerve stuff, come out of it right away. Next exhale, engage the lower belly to bring the knees slowly up towards the chest again. Do a little rocky left to right, and then bring it to the left. Knees to the left, dropping the right shoulder. Take one more breath here. Engage the lower abdominals, bring the knees back up to the chest. Do one more hug here, or you can do happy baby. So grabbing the insides of the legs or all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Pressing the knees towards the ground. And then bring the knees back together. It is time for Shavasana. So get a sweatshirt on, get socks on. I like to just throw a blanket over my whole face and just completely black things out during my Shavasana. The more senses we can close off, the more we can turn inward. So when you're ready, lie down on your back, palms facing up, separate the ankles, and begin to surrender to gravity.